It's always a good day when I get to review a new multi-tool, but this time around it's going to be three, all of very similar size and still quite a bit smaller than your conventional multi-tool. This is something a lot of people have requested, looking for a surrogate equivalency to the Leatherman Juice, which is since discontinued. These are quite interesting, and we're going to talk about why. Now, these are actually three distinctly different tool sets from each other, but they're still going to end up getting compared to some of the most popular compact multi-tools in the past, including the Leatherman Juice. So we'll talk about that comparison, specifically to a similar 4-layer variation, the Juice KF4. We're also going to compare this to the Leatherman Bond, which, believe it or not, is more of a comparison than you might imagine. And also, where did I put it? The SOG Power Pint, or in this case, the Power Leader, which is a very, very popular sub 3-inch tool, almost exactly the same length. So we're going to do a comparison to all of those. We're going to kick things off with the price, because I think it's a very attractive part of these tools. None of them come in above $25. In fact, I got both of these currently available with coupons and so on for less, around that $20 and some cents. Okay, if I will put a link to them, and if there's any additional discount codes, I will link them below. The Flissa comes in well under the $20 mark, and I think I got this around $16. Overall, we're in a very good starting point. And then, to go along with it, we have three distinct different primary tools. So we have a spring-loaded pair of pliers right here with a pocket clip. We have from Flissa a conventional pair of scissors. These are very robust, in fact. And then from Bibury, they went a little bit different on the scissors and went with a serrated pair of medical shears, which this is probably my favorite of the bunch when it comes to nailing both the tool set as well as the primary. Now, let me close these up for just a minute. Let's talk about dimension and weight. The weight being the most important part in this particular case, because if you're going to go for a smaller tool, you're probably doing that because you're struggling to carry the larger one, which is more capable. Now, this plier, which is the the heaviest of the three, is 5.6 ounces, which is quite heavy. The scissor-based version is 5.5, and then the Flissa, being the lightest of the three, is 5.35. Let's compare that quickly to the Leatherman Juice KF4 4-layer tool. It's going to be around 5.4 ounces. With the little attachment, it might be a little bit more. Where is it? The Power Leader, which is a little bit heavier, that's going to be 4.6, but the regular Power Point's 4.3. The next tool, W2, comes in at 5.6, almost the exact same weight, so that's an important comparison. And then the Leatherman Bond is only a little bit heavier at 5.8. So let's see, it looks something like this when it comes to weight. Like that. Okay, there we go. So there's our little weight order here. You might have expected this tool to be a lot lighter, and that's partially because they have mismarked it on the box. 82 grams, where the actual weight for the plier-based version is, let me go to the units here, 158, almost twice as heavy as what it's been listed. Not a good look, I will say. Now, beyond the weight and the price, and and you can see the comparisons, we have to also talk about the tool set. So these two here, the Shear version as well as the plier-based, have the same outer tools, but the Flissa is completely different. So let's go to that real quick. We have, and this is on all three tools, is a nail file and package opener. We also have a small flathead with a SIM card extraction tool underneath, a larger flat with a bottle opener, a Tanto style blade, not particularly sharp out of the box, but easy to touch up. And did I get it all? I think I got it all. And of course we have a lanyard ring here. And this one comes with both a earwax removal tool, which I think is a little weird, and then a pair of tweezers, which is very much appreciated for a tool that does not have a pair of pliers. So that's actually quite nice. The Shear comes with a glass breaker that has a pretty decent spring tension, but it's still non-locking, which I find a little annoying. I wish they had just integrated it into like part of the end instead and not given up an entire tool slot. But it comes with the same package opener, and it comes with a pull cutter, which for this particular tool makes a ton of sense. And also making a lot of sense is a scalpel holder. These come with additional scalpel blades, and I really think that's cool. A lot of the modders in the community will rejoice because I think this has more metal around it and a larger pivot size that might create the opportunity to put this into maybe even a Swiss Army knife equivalency or something along those lines. It has a lot of modding potential. So that's all I want to say. Now, it is a little bit difficult to close this because the back is a little bit thin, but it does work. It does have a strong spring tension, which honestly, I'd rather be a little bit more difficult and have a higher spring tension. So that part's cool. That is the only difference. Well, there's basically no difference from the outer tool set with the plier base. The only difference that I can see is the addition of the pocket clip. Both of these have just the tweezers in the back, but they also have the opening that would allow them to accommodate the earwax removal tool. So I don't know why they didn't include that as well, but there you go. Now, let's go to the plier base version, because that's the one I think people are going to be most interested in. If we were to compare the pliers here, they are very, very similar in dimension to the ones you will find on the Leatherman Juice. Maybe even a little bit stronger, mostly because of this triangular shape. It's also got a smaller section for the gripping of nuts and so on, which I actually prefer, because what ends up happening with these is people attempt to use them on things they probably shouldn't. And that's what caused a lot of the Leatherman Juice series tools to break, and why they discontinued the tool in the first place. Not only was it not high in demand, but people would treat it like a full-sized multi-tool and be surprised when it would break. The other thing I should compare it to is probably one of my favorite budget options, the Nextool W2, which has a pair of spring-loaded pliers, very similar in size, but also has a really cool adjustable wrench, which I've somehow locked. Hold on a second. There we go. Which will allow it to be used a lot harder, but still at similar size. It is not, however, going to be the same length closed as these small implements. So you're not going to fit this in a fifth pocket by any stretch, but it is thinner. So that's something of note, and very similar in size. And then when you compare it, of course, to the Leatherman Bond, I mean, there is no comparison. This is a stronger plier than even the one on the Leatherman Wave. And the reason is it does not have replaceable cutters, and so it doesn't have the same weak points. Quite a bit more substantial. And this is only slightly heavier than the Bibury. Yes, it's true that this is about 3 times the cost at $60, but it is assembled here in America, and it has a 40-year warranty if you register the product on their website, and I'll do all that little stuff. So really good warranty, really nice combination of tools with the standard full-sized quarter Phillips driver. We have flatheads in here, a reamer, a file, all the good stuff, right? All the good stuff. I don't know how the plier base one's rough, because on one hand, I like the form factor, I like the look of it, but it's really heavy. It doesn't feel like it needs to be. I would like to see G10 versus steel so you could reduce the weight even further. Anywhere they can save weight, they should save weight on this implement. Because the elephant in the room is the power pint. With its pliers that have the full 1/4-inch bit driver included and a decent, not ideal, but decent internal tool set, it's definitely still going to be the tool to beat, even though it's about twice as much at around $38, $38 to $45, depending on where you go and when you're looking. This is a market that is ripe for new product. We're seeing every company start to release more in this size, and that is a very good thing. I still, hold on, I'm gonna go get something real quick. This right here, this is the Leatherman mini tool. It was actually the second release from Leatherman. It came before even the Super Tool in the 80s. And what makes it so special is it is super compact. It weighs about 4 ounces, and it had a full-sized pair of pliers that also happen to have a full-sized handle. They even came up with a clever way to integrate both a can opener and bottle opener directly into the frame without causing any hotspots or issues with your hands. Each one of these sides housed either a small blade, which would be perfect for opening packages and just miscellaneous things, and then the other side housed a flathead with a file. Now, I don't think that made as much sense, or at least it doesn't make as much sense now, but either way, what a great tool set. What a compact and easy companion tool for something that you might use once in a while that fits in a 5th pocket. This is what we want. This is the thing that we should be focusing on. Light, capable, full-size plier in a small package. And you know, Leatherman almost did it again, but they marketed it badly with the Leatherman Leap. The Leatherman Leap, 4.3 ounces, full-size pair of pliers, 4 locking outer implements, plus a bunch of stuff on the outside that was really useful too. And it even had a modular blade they came up with. Their theory with this was that when a kid, which was designed for children, was ready, all you had to do is like set this in and ready to rock and roll. Now, they probably didn't realize you could still take it out again, which I'm gonna see if I can do this on camera. Let's see if I can get it. But you can actually take this out one more time if you want to. And so they had the potential for a modular compact tool system and never fully explored it. The PowerPint is probably still going to reign supreme right now, okay? But I don't think that's going to be for very long unless, well, the plier head on the PowerPint is definitely the leader, right? Because it has the full 1/4-inch bit driver. I think that's going to be a really hard thing to beat. I also think the fact that the price is really reasonable is going to be a major factor, but other companies are catching up real fast. And it is my hope that we see more because I love it. I think that the closer we get to a full-size plier in a 3-inch frame, the more likely I think people will end up carrying a multi-tool. The original PST weighed only 5 ounces. It was super compact and super easy to carry. And yes, the Leatherman Bond is very close and is a good spiritual successor to the PST. But there's a smaller size, I think, something much more compact like these that has the potential to shake up the market. Now, the PowerPint is the leader right now, but that's going to change. I think there's going to be a lot of companies joining in, and I'm excited about it. Curious to hear your thoughts down in the comments. As always, thank you guys for your time. And we'll talk again soon.